Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Warrior Zone podcast. My name is Coach Kathy Wright, and I'm the global lead of coaching for URAWarrior. I'm excited today because we have an amazing coach that we want to introduce you to. Her name is Coach Cornita Cole. She is a visionary, entrepreneur, creative powerhouse with over 15 years of experience in commercial real estate, construction, IT. She's a book author. She's the founder of a social and emotional program, and she's an assistant director and executive producer in animation and in film. And she just happens to be a wellness coach with the URAWarrior system. I'd like everybody to welcome Coach Cornita Cole. Hi, Cornita.
Wow, thank you so much. That's amazing. I'm like, who's that?
It's all
I
you.
love it. I
It's
love to hear it. And you did a fabulous job. So thank you so much for the introduction. I appreciate it.
well,
Glad to be here.
we're glad that you're here, and you're so dynamic and you're so lovely. And I'm just so excited that you're part of the UO Warrior ecosystem and I get to work with you. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to learn more about you. I know I've kind of read through some things, but can you tell us, like, with all of that background, how did you end up getting into the wellness coaching space?
Oh, wow. It's definitely organic. I think it stemmed from a few of my friends and colleagues would call and ask me for my advice around, career burnout from them dealing with stress, with grief, or just emotional roller coasters with being a caretaker. So, and that came from me actually being that person that they were, and being able to create tools and find a way of being, I guess, catapulting through the wellness resilience, what they saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
They was like, how does she handle it? It must be a way, or what she's doing. So I think it definitely happened naturally. And I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can do, to continue to help people and just be available. So from there, I pretty much got certified as a mental wellness first aider, and just having the opportunity to recognize if individuals need help, not diagnosing them because I'm not a doctor,
Right,
but just
right.
being able to communicate and direct people to the proper resources that they need, and me guiding them that way. So I'm excited to even be in this industry because I feel like it's definitely needed, and I'm just happy that I'm able to contribute.
I'm just glad that the people that were in your sphere like really noticed something about how you showed up in the space, right? I think a lot of coaches kind of like before they're coaches, it kind of like you said, they like people just kind of drift towards them because they seem to be the people in the spaces that have kind of figured out how to maneuver through really
Right.
dynamic, very in some cases volatile situations that are happening. And like you may have shown up as you must have shown up as someone who was very calm and very at peace and able to move through that. Were there any
Yeah.
wellness things that you were doing for yourself?
Definitely. And these are kind of the tools that we kind of talk through because I feel like it's action when you're trying to build and get through, to build mental strength,
Mhm.
and recognizing kind of where you are and sitting down for a minute to kind of see what your next steps are and accepting the feelings that you have. So for me, my contribution to the social emotional support is both with youth and adults.
Mm.
So, and starting with the youth specifically, it's like feel. We want the individuals or the youth to feel that emotion, right? So they can recognize it. And then once you can recognize it, and then you can sit with what should I do, or what can I do now to kind of calm me down, or just to move me forward to the next step if I'm stuck. And then what can I do next after that? So it's really for me just using those tools that I use for myself to write these things down to kind of
Mhm.
see the story. And I'm not creating, but I'm presenting the tools through storytelling too, because we people should understand their story and should be able to communicate it as well.
You had so many good gems in there. The first thing
Hmm.
that pops out that you said is that you want people need to feel, right? And I think that is so true. So many people spend time trying to work around being in the moment and feeling whatever it is, the anger or sadness or happiness in some cases, right? They work to try to to avoid those things because they think it's going to lead to another space that maybe they can't manage. So I love
Hmm.
that you've named that as a thing, especially
Yeah.
for young people. Now you have a book for young people around that same topic. Is that right?
Yes. So the book for the youth is it's a book series titled Medical Tales for Small People. So
Okay.
this is where the book is anywhere from talking about mental awareness or even diseases that may affect the family members, and again communicating with these children and teaching them about either the diseases, I'm sorry, or
Hmm.
whatever's going on inside the family.
Hmm.
And I have one on kidneys, one on cancer, one on grief, and then one on a human anatomy. And sometimes how we, again, teaching kids about the different parts of the body to know how you're functioning, and which may help some of the senses to better, so they can better understand why they're responding this way, or what opportunities they can use with their body, what their body provides for them
Hmm.
to, help them get through the situation. So these books, I have four books that are self-published, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they're on the market now, online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart. So those are kind of the books, and they're translated over to curriculums and tools when I go into the schools.
Well, you have to. What's the name of the series again? I want to make sure we
Yes, medical tales for small people,
Medical Tales for Small People.
for small
Everybody
people.
that we everybody got to get it. Everybody go out, get those books because I
Yes.
think, everybody knows I'm a former educator. I was a principal for many, many years.
Ah,
Yeah, I was, I
well, yes,
taught.
that's right. I do know that. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
for many years,
Yeah.
right? I was in that space. I
Hmm.
saw a lot of the curriculum. I was a science teacher too, right? And so I know there's a huge gap. There's a lot of books that talk about,
Hmm.
biology, but there's not a lot that talk about the things that you talked about, mental resilience, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wellness,
Yes.
all of those things that happen in the mind that young people sometimes have a really hard time kind of like figuring out how to get through. And so,
Tapping.
and the teachers
Hmm.
they don't have the tools. They just don't have
Yes.
the tools for some of those conversations.
Yeah. And I'm sure it takes patience, and a lot of times we want to, I think, catapult over it or get to the end result really quick. And I
Hmm.
think starting with the youth, it's more about them understanding, excuse me, their feelings. So I call it the heart check, because that gives them a chance to kind of, you know, um, you know, inhale, just get their breath together, just think about how and acknowledge again how they're feeling. What can they do now to get them out of that state? And then again, going to what can we do next? So I think if you understand what situation you're currently in,
Hmm.
and you know that it doesn't have to be resolved immediately, we're
Hmm.
adapting this wellness feeling. We're trying to get out of it. Nothing happens instantaneously, unfortunately, but just teaching them how to gradually get themselves out of it, how to step back, acknowledge, and, you know, what can
Yeah.
I do
And
for
I love.
myself?
No, no, no. I think, there's again another set of gems like right baked inside of that, right? Because what I heard you say is I heard you say writing it down, which journaling, huge, huge opportunity for journaling, right? Would you say
Hmm.
so?
I would say so, because I think a lot of times we, including myself, hold things in our heads, right? We can play the entire scenario out on our head, but in our head, I'm sorry, but the reality is there is a process from beginning to end for everything. And I
Mm,
think it feels good when you can check off something, or have a guide. And that's where it is. You don't feel as stressed, because if you don't know where you're going, you still feel stuck,
yep, yep.
right? So a lot of
Hmm.
times that's where the writing comes in play. And I always say the storytelling comes in play. The storytelling is really about you understanding and expressing, and writing down your journey from beginning to end or where you want to be.
Where you
What's your end result? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the journaling aspect of it. If you were to see my office, it's absolutely crazy. Like
I,
stacked with different journals from like forever when
I
I've
love a
had journals.
journal.
Oh my goodness, it's the best thing. But young people,
Yes.
again, like making it okay and giving them a way forward
Mhm.
to think about how they're processing their emotions and in this storytelling way, right?
Yes.
I love looking back at journals I filled out 5 years ago. I was such a
Oh
different
my gosh.
right?
Yes,
Like,
you really see what mindset like you were
hmm
in at that time, and like it really is interesting.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
your story. That's your story, your journals. If you could just pick up your journal, you can see where you were from a year, excuse me, 3 years ago, 10 years ago. It tells the entire story.
And I think that's important, but you also said something else that I think is really, really good. And I don't want our viewers to miss it. You
Mhm.
talked about breath work, right?
Yes.
And stopping and pausing and breathe. Can you give a little bit more about what that is?
So it's really just about stopping yourself. That's where we're going to acknowledge how we're feeling.
Mm,
You're going to just inhale and just exhale, and figure out like give yourself a moment. And that's what it really is about. It's just counting. You can count to 10, you can count to 20. So you won't respond so dramatic sometimes. And it's okay to respond dramatic, but I think sometimes if you can help yourself, it's really about calming your nervous system, right? And it's
hmm
really about calming your nervous system so you can make the right decision or you can think clear about why am I feeling like this? Like, why is this making me respond this way? Now, I had a client recently, actually, that said that I'll just say her name was Camilla, was she thought everything was okay, but she was actually in the house cleaning up at the time. And she sat down for a moment to give herself a break and started crying,
Oh.
like
hmm
crying, nervous,
hmm
anxiety, like trying to figure out like why am I doing this? And she actually um said that she took a moment to calm her nerves because that's kind of my practice when I do talk to my clients and individuals. It's all about intake. We are intaking the feelings. We are going to do that. It's not from a psychiatrist or a psychologist. It's just being aware.
hmm
That's really what it is. It's the first point. It's just being aware of why you're feeling like that and then calming yourself down so you can pretty much maybe figure out why you started, but why did you start crying from
hmm
nowhere?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that happened, that you're just, covering up, or maybe it's a thought process that you had earlier in the day that's now resurfacing.
Yeah.
And giving you just the moment to check yourself and figure it out and decide how do you want to feel after this. I don't want to stay in this gloomy moment right now. So that's when you have the opportunity to check yourself and say, this is what or how I want to feel next. That's getting you out of it.
hmm I
So
think
that's kind of that's the process.
And what you highlight here is that many people are not, I think, in their bodies. They're in their heads all day. Like they're
Yes.
never really present in the moment because they're processing old stuff or they're busy processing stuff about what they got to do in
Hmm.
2 weeks, right? And so, but they're never
Hmm.
in the present moment. So I love that you highlight, like along with the journaling, like breathing and getting yourself
Breathe in.
centered in that space, like really
Yes.
like can remove some of that anxiety that builds up because you're constantly trying to relive yesterday and prep for
Hmm.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
could be that the one of the tool, not one of the tools, but one of your next steps could be like, don't think at all. I mean, give yourself a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
think life will go on if you didn't think about anything for 30 minutes. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's about
Hard,
a lot
but it's hard. It's
yeah.
hard.
A lot of
It's
people don't
hard.
want to give themselves the permission to do anything, but be
I know.
present for other folks.
Do nothing. It's fine. Do nothing. Give
Mhm.
yourself 30 minutes. I don't want to do anything. Give me a minute.
Yes.
30
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah,
I
it's hard for people.
It is hard. It is hard. So when you think about, what maybe you have gone through in your own story. Is there anything that that's underneath like you wanting to really like do this for others? Is there any like story? Maybe it's not even your story. Maybe it was something that happened to someone else that really kind of like showed
Yeah.
like gave you some kind of idea of
No,
how this
it
could
was.
help.
Yeah, it was definitely my story because 3 years ago, that's when my daughter contracted kidney disease. So I'm a kidney donor. So we went through the process of that and we came out great on the other end. So that was wellness resilience.
Yeah.
And within that same year, my partner had colon cancer, which came back for the second time and then the third time right after. So I had lost my partner, but before um he left us, I always wanted to be an author. So that was always my creative side, but I was so intimidated and his words were write children's books first. And maybe that'll help you kind of get through how you're feeling. So he was definitely a cheerleader for me during the time with my daughter, during my time even with him,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to build a resource to better myself or to get through these challenging times. And it was through that where I said, well, geez, if I can't get through it, I know children can't get through it.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it's because illness, depression, mental weakness
Mm-hmm.
affects the entire family.
Yeah.
It can.
Yeah.
So that part, I was like, if I can't get through this, I want to know how to help people just understand, like communicate, know what the problems are, and see how we can fix them. So that's kind of, it really is a step process. That's probably my project management background. I
Mm-hmm.
always want a tool. Look, I always want a tool. I always want to know what the risk management is,
Yeah.
risk assessment. Like, yeah, how can we do this better? How can I get this mental wellness better? How can I feel better, without beating myself up, So that's where the storytelling came about for me and wanting to introduce that both to the youth and adults.
What you describe is really a love story, right? I mean, you're
Could
talking
be.
about, and I'm so sorry about the loss of your partner,
Mhm.
and everything you went through with your daughter and the kidney, but in all of that, right? What I hear like is just this thread of how much love was in this space and how you had to figure out how to manage stress, right? And still be there for the both of them and be there for yourself. And I love the gift that he gave you of like saying, hey, write a children's book, right?
I
And
know.
from that, your practice has really grown, right?
Yes, and also, so yes, it has. And with the kids, I started the, and now the adult part of the adult book that I wanted to do is now about to resurface, and that's still focused around social and emotional support and adaptation for adults. So it's around the ego. So similar thing. So the
Mm-hmm.
youth, and so my practice and support for the youth and adults are grounded on the same level in the same spectrum, just the approach is just different. So I'm just so excited about it because I feel like it's very helpful because I know it helps me. So that's how things work. Like if you practice what you preach, basically. So
Exactly. Yeah.
feels
And
good.
I love that. Like you work with young people and you work with adults, right? And you
Yes.
work in this space of mental wellness. And you've given us a couple things that we can that like you've highlighted, right? Which is the breath work and centering yourself and also the journaling.
Journaling.
Yeah,
Hmm.
is there anything else that if someone was feeling overwhelmed right now, right, and you had to talk to them, coach them through how to become, have better wellness in this space, is what's the first step you might tell them to do in the next 24 hours? What should they do?
We're speaking for an adult. I think the children, we want to calm their nervous system. I think that and help them understand how they're feeling because kids know about feelings. So they just need to tag it. Is it sad? Is it nervous?
Mm-hmm.
Is it lonely? So that's what we pretty much acknowledge the children's feelings first if we're starting with a youth, someone in the youth category. For the adult is pretty much also understanding why you're feeling this way. A lot of times we as adults put a lot of pressure on ourselves
Mm-hmm.
because it's someone else. It's not even you. Like you're feeling your anxiety or your thought process that's stressing you out. If you really sat there and thought about it, it could be because you're feeling you don't want someone to look at you a certain kind of way. This is where the ego comes in place.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't want someone to look at you a
Mhm.
certain kind of way. You
Yeah.
don't want to show up, or you think you're supposed to show up a certain kind of way. And you want to make sure that you're always showing up the same way when wellness really is about adapting. So I just always want people to recognize why they're feeling. It's always back to why you're feeling this way. With the ego, with the adults, we have to push that aside and then you can decide, oh, it's not even me. If I take out that I don't care about the Joneses, if I take out that I'm not trying to, deliver the same thing that someone else is trying to deliver, if I take out that, I don't have to be competitive with the coworker in my office because we're just different,
Mm-hmm.
period.
Yeah.
Like I
The
show up how
comparison
I show
game.
up. The
Yep.
comparison game
Yep.
is really, yeah. So it's
Yep.
more about checking it's the ego check for the adults and it's the heart check for the youth.
I love that. I mean, you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. It's things that we see all the time, and at You Are a Warrior, right? There are people who are looking for ways to affirm their feelings, to find a way out of the stress, and it always begins with what is the story that you're telling yourself, right?
What
Do
is
you?
the story that yes, what is the story that you're telling yourself? Who is this where's this feeling coming from?
Mm-hmm. And is it dependent on because somebody else said that,
Yes.
said something that is impacting your ego, like you were sharing
Yes.
earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ego is so funny because that's one word that I've been using for a very long time. Even when I was young, I used to
Mm-hmm.
be like, I do not have a high ego. And I was like, I don't want it because I know where it takes you sometimes. I'm not talking about the ego that makes you confident. We're not trying to deny the super ego that hypes you up to get you through the insecure times.
Right.
We're not trying to destroy that ego. Where
Okay.
I'm talking about the ego that protects you too much, that
Mm.
doesn't allow you to have the proper feelings that you have, the ones that doesn't allow you to make a mistake, the ones that that doesn't allow you to just think for yourself and not for someone else. So that's what we're talking about.
I love it. I love it. And I think that what your message is right on time. I think we're in a space where there's so much stuff going on, right, in the outside
Mhm.
world. And we have a ton of people who are coming to the app and they're looking for a community of people who understand, right? Where it's safe.
Yes.
There's no bullying, there's no trolling. It's just real support, right? And you're
Hmm.
there, and we have a whole plethora of coaches who are there who have different specialties in different areas. We have coaches that focus on relationships. We have those that focus
Rear.
on healthy eating. You focus
Hmm.
on wellness. Are there other spaces that you have specialties besides wellness, overall wellness?
Oh, this is it. But the wellness can fall in a lot of areas
Mhm.
because I think every executives need, wellness,
Yeah.
children need wellness. So
Hmm.
I think this is just something that um, I think I focus on it from a core feeling, social and emotional place
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
some other people may focus on wellness and tie it to the tactics of their genre, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally get that. I totally get that. But,
Hmm.
like I said, like you're part of this wonderful ecosystem that You Are a Warrior.
Yes.
How could, if a person is looking for you, they just look you up on the app, they can find you. How do they just log on and
Yep.
search for you?
So when you're logging in and you're choosing your coaches, I'm down as Coach Cornita. And it's also, if I think it's also in the category of wellness. If you do it by category, then I will fall under that line as well. So Coach Cornita directly, or if you're choosing an area, it will fall under wellness.
I love that. Now, if they want to get your books, how can they get your books?
Yeah, so Medical Tales for Small People, they are available on Amazon. You can also purchase it from medicaltalesforsmallpeople.com. But Amazon is popular today, or
Mhm.
Barnes and Noble, or even Walmart.com. So they're all on the e-commerce sites. So
Oh, I love
please
that.
go
I
out and
love that.
buy.
Yes. We want
Yes.
them to buy your book. We want them to book a session. Coach Cornita
Yes.
is there. We can do group sessions. We can do one-on-one sessions. We want to be your partner in this space around
Yes.
coaching you through your mental health and wellness journey. Like Coach
Building
Cornita.
wellness resilience.
Yes, yes. We want to be your partner in that space. It's a safe community. It's a wonderful community of expert coaches who want to help to support your wellness. And you've met the lovely Coach Cornita, who is absolutely
You.
fantastic.
Thank you. Thank
And
you for having me.
yeah, we love it, and we're excited that you share time with us today. Is there any parting message that you want to tell our listeners, our viewers, before we depart today?
I do want to say that wellness is adaptable. It doesn't stay still. So wellness is something that you have to work on, and be realistic of the state of mind that you're in, so you can focus on the end result. So I just want people to be more acknowledgeable of how they're feeling, truthfully. I think that's where it is. That's that social emotional piece. We have to be more truthful with ourselves so we can know where to go for the help.
I love it. That's a great piece of advice.
Mhm.
And I hope that
Thank
everybody will
you.
lean in and join us. We're super excited. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Coach Cornita. You are
Thank you,
absolutely
Coach
fantastic.
Kathy.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well,
All
this
right.
this has been episode 2 of season 2 of the Warrior Zone podcast. And I have been Coach Kathy Wright, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.